Today, the life simulation you'll experience is a woman taken by the Xiongnu for 12 years and ransomed back, caiwenji. You know what? I wrote 2 long poems in my life, and not one line praises me. They're all weeping. Weeping for my father killed by Dong Zhuo. Weeping for myself dragged off to be a Xiongnu king's woman. Weeping for my 2 half-Xiongnu sons left behind on the steppe when I was bought back. My father was Cai Yong, the most famous Confucian scholar of the late Han, calligrapher and historian. I never left the inner chambers, but I learned Guqin, poetry, and the 6 classics from him. In the Jinan era, Dong Zhuo summoned my father to Luoyang. After Dong Zhuo was killed by Wang Yun, my father sighed for him once. Wang Yun threw my father in jail. He died there. I was about 18, my husband Wei Zhongdao had just died of illness. I had to go home. After my father died, Chang'an fell apart. Dong Zhuo's generals Li Ju and Guosi fought each other in Guangzhou. The Xiongnu worthy king of the left led troops south to scavenge the chaos. I was widowed back home in Qinlu. The day Xiongnu soldiers stepped through my gate, I was holding a scroll my father left me. They didn't want any books. They tied people to horses and headed north. Picture it. A scholar's daughter, 18-19 years old, bound and thrown over a horse, taken from Chunlu all the way to the southern Xiongnu royal court, 1500 li. I lost count of the dead on the road. I watched a woman traveling with us slip from her horse. The Xiongnu didn't dismount. They shot her with a bow and left her at the roadside for the wolves. I cried until my voice gave out, and the next day I had to keep walking. At the southern Xiongnu court, the worthy king of the left took a liking to me, kept me as a consort. I lived on the steppe 12 years. In those 12 years I learned to speak Xiongnu, to milk mares and ferment kumis, to survive in a tent at -30 degrees. I bore 2 sons, the elder named Adi Gui, the younger Amegi. I remember the Xiongnu names to this day, their father gave them. You think the steppe makes you forget home? It doesn't. Every night in my felt tent, listening to wolves outside, I thought of the apricot blossoms at my father's house. My father had collected 4,000 scrolls. I could recite half of them by heart. With no paper or brush, I wrote Han characters in charcoal on the felt for my 2 sons, telling them, "Mama isn't from here. Mama comes from a place with books and poetry." They didn't understand the words, but they knew this was Mama's most precious thing. In the 12th year of Jinan, Cao Cao pacified the north and remembered my father Cai Yong had no heirs. He sent envoys with 1,000 taels of gold and a pair of white jade discs to the southern Xiongnu. The worthy king of the left took the payment and let me go. I was 31, 12 years on the steppe. The day the envoy came, I held my 2 sons and wept 3 days and 3 nights. Cao Cao wanted Cai Yong's daughter, not my 2 Xiongnu sons. The sons, by custom, had to stay. Think about the cruelty of it. The Xiongnu took me. I had no choice. 12 years later I had 2 sons. I was their mother, and Cao Cao bought me back. I could see Han's soil again, but I had to leave my children. This time it wasn't the Xiongnu taking, it was the Han ransoming. But I was still the one separated from my sons. Later I wrote a long poem called 18 Refrains of the Hujia Flute, 18 sections, each a different pain. The most painful section reads, "Going or staying, both heartbreak. Going, I miss this land. Staying, I weep for my sons." Going hurts, staying hurts. Throughout the entire Tang dynasty, no one dared write a second one like it. Why did I use the hujia? The hujia is a Xiongnu instrument, made of bamboo. It sounds like wolves howling. Before I left the steppe, the worthy king of the left gave me a hujia his grandfather had used. I held that flute walking back to the central plains, 1500 li, retraced. Back in Han lands, the court gave me a silk-stringed guqin. But every time I played, what came out was the melody of the hujia. Cao Cao made me marry Dong Si, an officer of agricultural colonies. Dong Si was younger than me, marrying me mostly under orders. I was 31, half a year back from the steppe, still living in its haze. The first time Dong Si saw me, he asked, "Can you recite from memory the 4,000 scrolls in your father Cai Yong's collection?" I said I could. From that day, I wrote out my father's library every day. More than 400 scrolls, not one character wrong. 3 years later, Dong Si committed a capital crime. Cao Cao was going to execute him. I put on coarse hemp, let my hair down, ran to Cao Cao, and knelt. The court ministers were all seated. I said, "Chancellor, Dong Si committed a death-deserving crime, but if he dies, I'll be widowed again. I was held by the Xiongnu 12 years, widowed once after coming back. I cannot bear a third time." Cao Cao was silent a long while, said nothing, waved his hand, and let Dong Si go. I also wrote a poem called Verses of Indignation, 540 characters, all of it what I saw on the road from Chunlu to the southern Xiongnu. One line goes, "Cut down, none survived. Corpses propped corpses up," meaning the road was emptied of life, no one left, bodies piled in ditches one against the other. That single line still makes people weep 1800 years later. Do you know how old I was when I wrote Verses of Indignation? 32. After a 32-year-old woman finished that poem, history books never recorded another word she said. It's not that I couldn't speak. I'd written every word I had into that poem. The rest of my life, I helped Dong Si organize my father's library, lived to about 50, and history left me 3 characters, name lost. After surviving, I understood one thing. Whether a woman in chaotic times leaves her name behind has nothing to do with who she married. It's about what she wrote. I married Wei Zhongdao. No one remembers. I was a Xiongnu king's consort. No one remembers. I married Dong Si. No one remembers. What I left was 18 refrains and verses of indignation. Those 2 poems have outlived me by 1800 years, longer than any of my husbands. Think about this too. In that same era, thousands, tens of thousands of women were taken. Only one of us could write poetry. The other women had no chance to read, were taken, and that was the end. Not even their names survived. I survived because my father Kai Yong taught me the 6 classics and the Guqin before I was 10. Whether a woman lives on in history depends on whether her father taught her to read. Late Han was chaos. Men were fighting wars. Women were being taken. Sima Qian wrote the Han Shu and didn't include women. Bangu wrote the Ho Han Shu and broke ground with the biographies of exemplary women. The Lai Nu Zhuan has a dozen women, but their stories are all how they died. Martyred, suicided, drowned after capture. I'm one of the few in Lai Nu Zhuan who didn't die. Bangu wrote a special section for me because I lived and wrote. See the pattern? In chaotic era women's biographies, most are about how they died. The more glorious the death, the longer the entry. Women who lived and wrote poetry, history barely gives them words. Not because surviving doesn't matter, but because the historians were all men, and they thought a woman's highest virtue was death. I knew. I just refused to die. The 2 poems I left have one thing in common. 18 refrains is about separation. Verses of Indignation is about death. Neither poem praises anyone. I didn't praise Cao Cao for ransoming me. Didn't praise the worthy king of the left for marrying me. Didn't praise Dong Si for marrying me. Didn't even praise my father Kai Yong for raising me. I only wrote what I saw of pain. That a woman in history could write what she saw of pain, that matters more than who she married. I've been dead 1800 years. In those 1800 years, dynasties have turned over. Kings and generals have been forgotten by name. My poems are still here. Every dynasty has someone who reads 18 refrains again, reads verses of indignation again. Tang's Lushang rewrote the 18 refrains melody. Song's Zhang Kuei set new lyrics to it. Ming's woman poet Su Yuan said, "Reading the line going or staying, both heartbreak. I cannot stop my tears." If you're an ordinary woman, no famous family, no astonishing talent, what can you learn from me? Let me tell you one thing. I survived not because I had talent, but because I wrote down what I saw. You can too. Even if it's just a diary entry, a Weibo post, a moment in friend circle, write down today's pain, today's injustice, today's small good. 1800 years from now, someone will read it. Comments tell me which hurt me more. Being taken to the steppe at 18, 1500 Li, or B, being ransomed back at 31 and leaving my 2 sons on the steppe. If this was useful, Send it to that girl around you who feels too ordinary to have anything to say. Let her know. What you write down is what stays. See you next episode.